Hello, welcome back. The gospel world has always been a place where faith, truth, and forgiveness are supposed to reign above everything else. But every now and then something happens that shakes that foundation to its core. Right now, that storm comes in the form of two powerhouse women whose names carry heavy weight in both ministry and music. Andria Johnson, a singer known for her raw honesty and powerhouse vocals, has publicly gone after evangelist Juanita Bynum in a way that nobody saw coming. What started as subtle hints and shaded words has now blown into a public confrontation that has churchgoers divided, social media ablaze, and fans of gospel music trying to figure out who to believe. This isn't just some petty back and forth. The accusations cut deep, hinting at things darker and more damaging than anyone expected. And the fallout could alter the way both of these women are viewed for years to come. The moment this feud really caught fire came when Andria decided she had been pushed far enough and wasn't going to sit quietly while her name was dragged. On one of her fiery social media broadcasts, she directly called out Juanita, demanding she stop spreading lies and twisting her past into a weapon. For Andria, this wasn't about getting clicks or attention. It was about defending her name, her ministry, and her truth against what she believed was intentional misrepresentation. On the other side, Juanita Bynum has never been one to shy away from speaking bluntly about sin, discipline, and holiness in the church. For decades, she's carried herself with the polished presence of an old-school evangelist, unafraid to rebuke what she sees as compromise. So when she recently made remarks about women in ministry living in sin and hiding behind testimonies instead of truly repenting, many in the church world immediately thought of Andria. The hints seemed too specific to be random. Juanita spoke of someone who had battled alcohol, who had been restored by grace but still lived recklessly. And within hours, fans were whispering the same name, Andria Johnson. It didn't take long for the speculation to jump from whispers to outright accusations once a clip of Juanita's words hit Instagram with captions that named Andria directly. The post spread like wildfire, and before long, the woman herself saw it. That was the breaking point. Andria went live, and with a mixture of hurt and righteous anger, she tore into Juanita, accusing her of spreading lies and deliberately trying to stain her name. She insisted that if Juanita had something to say, she should say it to her face instead of hiding behind vague words on a platform. From there, the floodgates opened. This was no casual clapback. Andria began laying out pointed accusations of her own. She suggested that Juanita wasn't as spotless as she wanted people to believe, bringing up whispers about her financial practices, her relationships, and her own inconsistencies in ministry. To Andria, Juanita was guilty of hypocrisy, preaching holiness while allegedly living a life that didn't always line up with the message. One of the sharpest blows came when Andria accused Juanita of being elitist, of behaving as though her decades of experience put her above correction. In Andria's words, the same grace that pulled her out of brokenness was the same grace keeping Juanita, and no one should pretend otherwise. The gospel community didn't take long to react. Within hours, hashtags like Team Andria and Team Juanita were trending as fans, pastors, and gospel insiders took sides. Some church leaders defended Juanita, praising her for speaking hard truths and holding the younger generation accountable. Others stood firmly with Andria, saying it was about time someone challenged the self-righteous spirit that sometimes comes from church leaders who refuse to admit their own flaws. Social media timelines that usually focused on choir rehearsals, sermon clips, and worship videos were now filled with debates, fiery essays, and endless clips of both women's statements. Behind the scenes, the tension grew just as fierce. Promoters and event organizers found themselves in an awkward position, worried about booking one of the women and alienating fans of the other. Gospel radio stations reportedly tried to avoid playing their songs too close together, not wanting to add fuel to the fire. Even award shows were caught in the middle, trying to rearrange lineups to prevent awkward confrontation should both women show up at the same time. The feud was no longer just words. It was affecting business, partnerships, and the very image of the gospel industry. To really understand why this clash feels so explosive, you have to go back years. Juanita Bynum built her name in the 1992nd and early 2002nd with her fiery preaching, prophetic anointing, and strict holiness standards.